Have you ever felt the frustration of wanting to do something, even having great ideas, but somehow you just can't get started? Or maybe you know what you want to do, but your body just won't cooperate. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today we are going to explore why this happens, particularly for those with ADHD and ASD, and what you can do about it. Welcome to the Howling Podcast. Let me tell you a story about my experience with occupational therapist. She was considered one of the best of ADHD, the top of her field, and was supposed to help me establish a routine. So there we were in her office, and she's drawing on the whiteboard, explaining how I should organize my day. I raised my hand and asked, but how do I even start when I can't start? I explained that I think about drawing all the time. I have all these ideas swirling in my head, or I'm already in the middle of a project, but somehow my body just doesn't move. And do you know what her answer was? If you think about it, you are motivated, just do it. That was the last time I saw her. I got mad, real mad. Why? Because this advice was missing a crucial piece of understanding about ADHD. You see, motivation is a complex issue for those of us with ADHD, and it's not as simple as just do it. Let's break it down. The thing about ADHD is that it's not just a matter of not wanting to do things, it's about how our brains are wired differently. People with ADHD have an issue with motivation because the brain chemicals messengers, particularly dopamine, don't function the same way they do in people without ADHD. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that often referred to as the feel-good chemical. It's responsible for pressure, motivation, and reward. In people with ADHD, dopamine levels are lower than average. That means we need a bigger hit of dopamine to feel the same level of motivation that others might feel naturally. So, when that therapist told me to just do it, she missed a fundamental aspect of how ADHD works. It's not that simple. We need to find ways to boost our dopamine levels to get moving. And guess what? There are natural ways to do it without relying on medication. One of the things I have found that work is cold shower. Yep, you heard me right, a cold shower. For a few minutes is uncomfortable, sure, but it can be a game changer for people with ADHD. Why? Because a cold shower naturally boosts dopamine levels. Unlike the quick spike in crush you get from something like scrolling through Instagram or eating sugar, the dopamine increase from a cold shower is more gradual. Imagine climbing Mount Everest, slow and steady up and slow and steady down. The effects can last much longer, giving you a few hours of increased focus and motivation. But does it work every time? No, not always. It's a process of trial and error. One step forward, 2 steps back. But the key is precision and experimenting to see what works best for you. Let's talk about other ways to naturally boost dopamine and improve focus. Did you know that brown noise can help people with ADHD? It's like white noise, but softer, deeper, and more calming. Brown noise can help boost productivity by masking distracting sound and creating a soothing environment. There is an app called Endel that I use, which offers different types of sounds, especially designed to help with focus, relaxation, and sleep. It even has feature to block distracting apps on your phone. It's been a game changer for me, and I discovered it through another YouTuber who specialized in ADHD, named ADHD Vision. While I'm not the biggest fan of brown noise itself, there are plenty of other focus sounds that I enjoy more. In fact, I used brown noise while writing this script, and it was surprisingly relaxing. It helped me write more and kept me from getting distracted, even though I was battling a headache. Now let's switch gear a bit and talk about ASD, or Autism Spectrum Disorder. Many people with ASD also experience challenges with motivation, but the reason can differ from ADHD. For those with ASD, it might be more about whether the task interests us or makes sense to us. As a child, I wouldn't do something if I didn't understand it or see the point. If we don't see the value in a task, it's hard to find motivation to do it. And here's where ADHD and ASD overlap. Both are happening in the brain, which means our brain works differently than people without these conditions. And understanding that is crucial. So, what's the takeaway here? Whether you have ADHD or ASD or both, remember that motivation isn't just about willpower or wanting it enough. It's about understanding how your brain works and finding strategies that work with it, not against it. Cold showers, the right kind of noise, and finding meaningful, engaging tasks. These are just a few tools that might help. And one last thing. Don't force yourself to do something if you genuinely don't feel like it. It can backfire and lead to even more frustration. Instead, try to find a way behind the task. If you can understand why something is important, it might help you find that spark of motivation. If you found this discussion helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Together we can find ways to thrive, not just survive. Until next time, take care of your mind and keep exploring what makes it tick.